Warning, the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR Show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, good kind people, what is going on? Lee Sanders here of the RCWR Show, covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. Here we are for Sunday night of April the 11th, 2021. Couple of minutes removed from Wrestlemania 37 Night 2, where it was a reign supreme. We are going to be talking about Night 2. If you missed our Night 1 coverage, that actually is available for on-demand video and for the downloads wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the RCWR Show. We're strictly talking Night 2 of WrestleMania Fallout. I do want to know what you guys had thought about tonight's WrestleMania event. So sound off as we're streaming live on multiple outlets. Welcome. And we have a poll up. You know, that interactive poll. I love knowing from you guys what's your thoughts. So sound off. Twitter at the RCWR Show. You'll see the same results over on, and the same options, same polling options over on YouTube. YouTube.com/the RCWR Show. Click on the Communities tab. But here's your options right now. Thumbs up. Thumbs down, not as good as Night 1, better than Night 1. Now, via Twitter, this is what we got so far. Early voting, but this is what we got so far. 5% of you said better than Night 1. We have a tie at 25%. 25% of you gave it a thumbs down. Meanwhile, 25% of you gave it a thumbs up. Top dog right now. 45% of you said not as good as Night 1. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Right before I move on to the YouTube results, because I did post that quite early. Shout out to Rohan via Twitter, who said nowhere near as good as Night 1. But man, that main event made it a show worth watching. That's what Rohan had said via Twitter. Let's see what's going on with you guys via YouTube. See if we got some early results coming in here via the Communities tab. And survey says, yes, we got some early votes trickling in here. Right now, we have 20% of you giving tonight's WrestleMania a thumbs down. A tie at 40%. 40% of you said not as good as Night 1. Other 40% better than Night 1. So we'll circle back to that a little bit later on just to see what you guys have to say one more time. With regards to Night 1, I did tell you guys we were going to be coming back to Night 1 just to kind of see if we can get an even stronger gauge on what everybody thought of Night 1. And in case you had missed it, you weren't able to join us for Night 1 of our WrestleMania coverage, here's how it is via YouTube Communities tab for Night 1. We kept it simple. We said thumbs up or thumbs down. So now you kind of understand why we went the way we went for Night 2 of Mania tonight. Now you understand the polling options. But for Night 1, 16% gave Night 1 a thumbs down. 84% gave it a thumbs up. Meanwhile, via Twitter, I am seeing the following, and I am so happy I really did not tweet that much tonight on Twitter here. Twitter, I am seeing that. Wow, that's very strong. 100% of the votes that came in went with the option thumbs up for Night 1. So that's exactly where things stand for Night 1. Look, Night 2, like if you ask me personally with regards to Night 2, I thought that there were some elements to Night 2 that were very strong. That was definitely, man, I'm glad I tuned in. I'm glad that I had checked this out. But I still was leaning a little bit more towards night one was really, really good. I think it just depends on what specifically were you looking for. I think it just really depends. Like when you look at night one, you can make the argument, oh, well, you know what? It had this person I was looking forward to seeing. This person I definitely was looking forward to seeing. This person was going to be in action. Oh, yeah. There was going to be this performance. And then for some, it was, no, night two for me, because these guys are going to be on it. And, not for nothing, I don't particularly care about some of the names on the card for night one. I'll watch it, just say I watched it, and then vice versa. So I just think it really depends on what was your preference. But I mean, you guys got to admit, when it's all said and done, and you look at night one, we got 7 matches. You look at night two, that had 7 matches. Add them up, 14 matches total. So basically, there was a little bit of something for everybody. Again, there was a little bit of something for everybody between both nights. But when you just look at WrestleMania weekend overall, I think we can be all in agreement that this was one of their most strongest WrestleManias to date within recent memory. I think we definitely could agree with that point. And that main event match for the WWE Universal Championship, I mean, all of my personal favorites right there. And as I was watching this with the family, one thing that was brought up, and I totally had blanked out on it, but interesting point was made, which was, wow, can you believe that all 3 of these men that's in this ring right now all had to relinquish the title for respected reasons? And I actually had to take a step back. It's like, yeah, I blanked out. I don't know why, but I blanked out on that. Isn't that so surreal when you stop and you think about it, and you just look at how each one of those men that was in that ring, how very similar paths, but at one point there was a diverge. And it's just interesting. 2 of the men had to relinquish their titles due to injury. One had to relinquish their title due to health issues, right? But very, very similar patterns right there. I thought Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and Edge, I thought what they did for a main event to close out WrestleMania, I thought they did fucking fantastic. The boys fucking went in there, and it was basically, okay, let's send everybody home. Let's hit a fucking home run. And they went out there and they fucking swung and they fucking hit. They hit big time. It was interesting to really kick back and really be able to take in the reactions. Now, I didn't do like I normally do, which is, leave my TV on mute after the entrances, because I don't particularly care for the commentating. I thought it was kind of funny too, by the way, because we didn't talk about this one night one. But I know a lot of people were griping over Michael Cole's commentating and everything, and I just couldn't help but say, wait a minute, you guys are tripping over Michael Cole's commentating? Like, I'm not ripping you guys or anything or making fun of you guys, but for me, it's women. You're tripping over Michael Cole's commentating? Like, you should know by now he's going to say silly shit that's going to make you scratch your head and say, what? You just got to pay him no mind, right? You just got to focus on the in-ring action. Like, silly shit is bound to come out of his mouth and everybody else's mouth. Like, for me, once I saw why people were tripping over him, it was like, wait a minute, that's why Michael Cole was trending at one point, because he said. And for me, it was just, who cares? Like, you're not watching these shows to hear Michael Cole. You're watching these shows for the superstars. Michael Cole could be gone tomorrow. I'm not exactly picturing somebody going to YouTube and doing a 45-minute montage. I will remember you. Will you remember me? I don't see nobody doing that. It's something unforgettable, but in the end, it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. I don't see nobody doing that for Michael Cole. More power to you if you do end up doing something like that. Hey, don't give me the credit, because I'm going to deny it straight up. But like, no, you guys should be focusing on the in-ring action. What the hell? I don't know which was worse with regards to last night. The fact that the fact that people were tripping over Michael Cole's portion there in commentating, a couple of points actually in his commentating from night one, or the supposed nip slip by Mandy Rose there. I mean, God. And I did, out of curiosity, I did see the picture. I mean, for me, what I consider to be a nip slip is when I can see the nipple. I mean, I can actually see the pointy thing, and I can see a nice good chunk of the breastitis, and I can see and for me, man, you guys that were tripping over that, you remind me of that scene from Boomerang where Eddie Murphy and Halle Berry, they're in a production truck and they're trying to figure out whether or not the model that's, I don't know, doing the thing for their newest commercial, whether or not they can see a breast and nipple, and they think maybe at first it's the shadow, but they aren't quite sure. And you had the production guy, he's got a cigar in his mouth, and he's like, well, I tell you what, if it's a nipple, I'd be drooling, and I'm drooling, so that's a nipple. And it's like, you guys, man, I love you guys, but like, man, you guys were, man, I'm just picturing the people that were like pausing that and just, I think there's a nipple in there somewhere. I think, yeah, oh my God, there is. And then to actually put it out there on social media. That's all I gotta say. Some of you guys are special. Shout out to those of you that didn't resort to those tasks. You all right in my book. There was no pre-show action as far as I'm aware of for night 2. No pre-show action. So pretty much, because I knew that was kind of like a main theme. Some people were under the impression, because of what happened with the inclement weather from Saturday, that maybe, okay, we're probably going to most likely have a pre-show match night 2. No, there was no pre-show action. Honestly, I was okay with that. And I'm at a point right now where, honestly, I'm okay going forward. I am just okay with there being no pre-show matches for these pay-per-views. I'm totally okay with that, because wrestling fans are already devoting enough of their time as it is during the regular week to check out the WWE product. They're also making the conscious effort to check out the Peacock Network exclusives and everything for WWE. So to also, oh yeah, by the way, you gotta watch this pre-show, because there's gonna be this match that's Nah. I wish that they would kind of implement what they used to do back in the day, which I thought was a really, really cool incentive and motivation to try to check out the pay-per-view. I don't know, well, I kind of got an idea on the age demographics for you guys, but so most of you guys should probably recall this. But remember when it came to before the WWE Network and all of that, when WWE was just hardcore cable satellite provider. Remember how, depending on who your cable or satellite provider was, because some of them wouldn't do this, but depending on who your provider was, if you weren't really sure about checking out a WWE pay-per-view, they would entice you by giving you a free match. There would usually be like a kind of like what they're doing now, like a pre-show match. And that would basically be the incentive to, wow, aren't you glad you saw this? Just imagine you saw this. What do you think is going to happen on the actual pay-per-view? Pick up that phone, call your local cable satellite provider now, and tell them you want your WWE SummerSlam. $49.95, right? And so, they used to do like little cool stuff like that. And then as the years kind of progress a tiny bit further, it morphed in a way where, okay, well, Verizon customers, they got to see this, but then for guys that were on, I don't know, Dish, they got to see, it was quite interesting the way that they did it back in the day. I wish that they would actually implement something like that. That would actually be kind of cool. I mean, we'll wait and see how they do that, but it's all good. It's all good. So no pre-show action. Let's see. First matchup of the evening, Randy Orton taking on The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. This match went about 5 minutes and 50 seconds. I gotta tell you, I love seeing my boy Randy Orton come out there, mumbling as he's on his way to the ring, but really taking in the fact that the crowds, hey, I'm performing in front of a crowd again. This is fucking badass. And you can tell he was really enjoying the moment. And I recall at one point he actually kind of rubbed his forearm a little bit. I guess he was trying to signal to the fans in attendance they're giving him goosebumps right now or whatever. But it was nice seeing him just really take his time, stroll down the ramp and everything. His attire was pretty badass too. You know, it's very seldom we see Randy Orton pushing all white. Right? You know, we're looking at Randy Orton, and it's almost kind of symbolic when you stop and think about the fact that he was wearing, you know, white trunks, white knee pads and all that, a little bit of red in there as well. It was kind of interesting when you stop and think about it too, because you're like, okay, so he's good. He's the angel, right? He is the light. He is the one that's going to essentially vanquish the darkness. He's going to vanquish the evil. It's kind of like one of those type of deals. But then we see Alexa Bliss come out, and Alexa Bliss usually, when she comes out, she has her Playhouse, Firefly Playhouse attire on and all that, and she came out, had an extra mascara going on and everything, and she goes up to this big ass Jack in the Box. Now, you don't really realize it's a Jack in the Box until she goes over to the side and she grabs onto this little lever, and you go, oh, okay, cool. And so your mind's already going ahead that, okay, something cool's going to happen here, and it's going to culminate in Bray Wyatt popping up somewhere, but where's he going to pop up? And as she's cranking it up, you got the nice little pop goes the weasel. Their own nice little spin on the song. And when the box opens up, slowly but surely, Bray Wyatt comes out. By the way, nice kick-ass video package / entrance that they did for Bray Wyatt there. I don't know if you guys had caught that. That actually was pretty sweet. This happened right before Bliss had came out, if I recall correctly, or maybe like right after she came out and as she was on her way to the box. We saw the deformed looking Bray Wyatt that had this really cool, I don't know, it kind of seemed like a burnt out little trench coat, whatever you want to call it, hoodie or something. It complimented his look that we saw last of him. But then this magical thing happens where it just starts to disappear, and we see the Fiend that we remember from the previous months, and you're going, oh shit, all right, cool. Lake of Reincarnation. All right, badass. So when she does that thing with the Jack in the Box, he comes out. It was epic. It was just totally epic. But you know what was so funny? I'm seeing as he's elevated out of this box, and the first question that comes into my mind, this is badass now. This is cool. But how's he going to get off of there? Is he like going to look for a ladder? Is the box supposed to maybe slowly, I don't know, decline or something? How's he exactly going to get off of this box? That was kind of like really on my mind there. And I got my answer in a hot second. By the way, you could tell for the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, that it was awesome to be there performing in front of fans again, because he did something that was very, very uncharacteristic when you look at the duration he's been the Fiend. Because, normally we hear him kind of talking, under that mask. He's mumbling some incoherent, that's the cool part about being able to wear a mask. You just say any old kind of thing, and a person is really going to have a hard time trying to decipher it. Trying to figure out if you're talking shit or if you're actually saying something or what. But when he's been the Fiend, he hasn't really been showing that much emotion, hardly any emotion. And this was one of those rare times where the Fiend was actually playing up to the crowd. I loved it. I mean, you just would have had to actually seen it with your own two eyes if you didn't watch tonight. But he actually was gesturing towards the fans, feeding off of their energy, and I mean, he pretty much was hitting all four corners and everything. It was a really sweet ass spot. But of course, the $1 million question, How was he going to get off of that box? We got our answer. He pretty much leaped off the box, charged at Randy Orton with a flying clothesline, and that pretty much had got the action underway and everything. For what it was worth, it was good. Like, for me personally, I love the fact that Randy Orton was just throwing any and everything he could at the Fiend. And the Fiend was just coming off almost as if he was unpenetrable. That's really how he was coming off. It was badass. He was like that monster. It's so funny too, because I literally, right before the pay-per-view came on, I watched The Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I always learn something different from it every time I watch it, like most movies. Like, my perspective always changes. So I'm looking at the Fiend here. Okay, Randy's throwing everything, but this monster just keeps coming back. So I love the storytelling that was taking place here. But then we start to hit a spot of a point in no return where you just go, yeah, what the fuck? And so, pretty much one point, Bray Wyatt looks like he's about to hit the Sister Abigail on Randy Orton. And then all of a sudden, we see Alexa Bliss return. However, her hairstyle, it's changed dramatically. Her attire has changed dramatically. She's leaking this black liquid. Like, this black liquid is just coming from her forehead and it's just dripping down her face. Almost like she's bleeding or something like that. Like there's been some type of maybe a corruption or something along those lines. And you just see the Fiend, who gets lost in a trance, trying to figure out, what's going on and everything. And, she's reaching out to him. She's not saying anything. She's reaching out to him. This is a very, keep this in mind for those of you that did not watch this. This is a very, very dark contrast to what we just saw of Bliss earlier, where she was very jubilant. She was kind of like her little Harley Quinn mini version of herself, usually, that we've been seeing all these weeks. And now all of a sudden we got, no words, no smiles, nothing. Fiend very, very deep in a trance over what he's seeing. And Randy Orton just comes from behind, RKO, 1, 2, 3. That's it. Fans in attendance were left scratching their head, wondering what the fuck was going on, hoping that maybe they were gonna, see a continuation of what was going on there between the Fiend and Bliss. Yeah, I'm looking at this in real time, and I just couldn't help but wonder, okay, so are we going to see something here where maybe for the first time ever, the Fiend maybe takes the mask off and, drops to his knees and is looking on at Bliss and trying to, is he going to bust out in tears or something? Like, is this Sister Abigail? What's going on here? Lights around the arena go dark, come back on. They both are gone, as well as the box. Not really sure how the box managed to disappear so fast, but it is what it is. Fans actually booed that. I don't blame them. I thought that was very shitty of a finish, quite honestly. We as fans, we have grown so accustomed to seeing chapters come to an end at WrestleMania. And if there is just, okay, well, this is obviously going to continue on, not only is it definitive, but at Mania, it ends in such a way where you are left walking away feeling satisfied. Maybe not by the winner's results, but you're left satisfied saying, well, at least they tried to give me the best complete match and storyline picture possible. This was one of those rare instances where you just looked at this, you shook your head, and you're just going, okay, like this, even if, I've always believed that if the fan has to do too much thinking to try to understand what is it that played out before their very eyes, then the bookers didn't really do a good of enough job. You feel where I'm coming from? So, I mean, obviously, the way it was kind of set up, they're trying to build up towards the Raw after Mania, but still, you can't help but look at the poor booking that was done there of that match, because Randy Orton is throwing everything. He's throwing his best shots out there at the Fiend, and the Fiend is just doing the Kane Undertaker kip up like it's no fucking problem, and then all of a sudden gets distracted, gets hit with the RKO. First RKO, pretty much of the entire match, basically. And Fiend doesn't try to kick out. So, look, if I were to kind of, read into this, or if you were to put me on the spot and say, Lee, put your writer's cap on, what's a really cool direction you could maybe go with this? Like where you going with this? If it was up to me, personally, I would have The Fiend be done with Randy Orton. Just be done with him, essentially, for now. For now. Because when it's all said and done, you can make the argument that Randy Orton has almost had the Fiend / Bray Wyatt's number every single time they've met up. You could almost make that argument. As a fan, you can almost get to that point where you say, I want to like this Bray Wyatt Fiend thing, but man, it just seems like after the entrance, that's it. It's pretty much screws to the loose there. It's no man's land. Forget about it. But I would leave Randy Orton alone. And the next chapter I would have developed for the Fiend would be for him to... This is a bit risky. What I'm getting ready to suggest, some people may not agree with this, but I would actually have the Fiend pop up, whether it be on Monday's Raw or whatever, but I would have the Fiend pop up. He's in the middle of the ring. He's not talking. And, maybe he could do something as simple as just, stand there in the middle of the ring. And the Fiend's never talked. So that I'm a little bit on the fence right now on whether or not I would actually have the Fiend talk. That's where I'm a little bit. And I think in this case I would make the Fiend talk, but I would make him say whatever he's got to say, very brief. But basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he wants answers. Long story short, Fiend wants answers. And the way I would set this up, I basically would say Alexa Bliss has been corrupted, if you will. That as far as the Fiend / Bray Wyatt's dark hold over her, it has been compromised. And then the question becomes, okay, well, if she's been compromised, if this is kind of one of those type of deals where if you have the urn, you essentially control the Undertaker. Okay, well then the question would be, who has compromised Alexa Bliss? Who has compromised her in such way where they're able to harness the dark power that's in her and pretty much use it against the Fiend? Who is that? And one person that comes to mind, I hope it's maybe going to go in that direction, Aleister Black. I think that would be a nice, again, we don't know what's going on with this guy. I mean, you see some of the stuff that's going on in NXT and you say, oh, man, they could just slide him in easily right here. You look at some of the stuff that's been happening on the main shows as of late and you go, okay, that's a great little spot. Slide him in right there. There's been quite a few opportunities there. So, this one, because when you stop and think about it, the early Aleister Black that we all came to know and love and fuck with, he pretty much was into the whole, I touch of evil, he was into that satanic, ritual type of, voodoo magic type of bullshit. So, that would be, and I think that would be a very interesting chapter. Talk about a really good way to reintroduce Aleister Black and everything and really try to put him in the best position possible, on the right footing and everything. Black Wyatt/Fiend. I think that would be pretty good. We'll just have to wait and see what's going on. But those are my thoughts about that right now. By the way, if you guys are enjoying yourselves so far, welcome. Hope you are enjoying yourself so far. If you are, please do me a huge favor. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and click on that bell notification so you don't miss out on the great content comes your way on a weekly basis. Did you guys love how I just pretty much rumbled over that one? Yeah, my aligners are out right now, so I'm trying to get used to not having the aligners in when I do the shows, because my doctor told me, well, you don't need to have them in all the time. Just, as you get ready to go to bed, pop them in. So I'm trying to get used to not always wearing them all the time. Not to mention it prolongs them longer. Those of you that did the Invisalign treatment, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Next matchup of the night, Tamina taking on Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. 14 minutes, 20 seconds. Good effort. Good tag team effort by both girls. I got to give it up to them. They went in there and they did pretty damn good. Actually, right before I touch upon that, we did get to see Titus O'Neil and the Hulkster yet again. They did open up night 2, and if you were curious, because I know some of you guys didn't watch, but you probably checked out the post show from night 1. If you were curious about the reactions, same continuation. Crowd, for the most part, felt a bit indifferent towards Titus, but they did their best to tolerate him and, gave him nice little glee applauses here and there. Hulkster, oh, it tickled me with delight. They booed him yet again. I loved it. I loved it. They booed him every single time he opened his mouth. It got so bad that one of the next times that they came out, WWE, much like what they did with night 1, they pretty much went with a piped in crowd to try to substitute each time the Hulkster was talking there. But right before our women's tag match for the titles, Eric Bischoff was hanging out with the Hulkster and Titus O'Neil. Bayley crashed the scene, and she was trying to figure out how she could be a guest on Eric Bischoff's podcast, 83 Weeks. And Bischoff, in a nice way, was trying to let her know, I think it'd be really cool if I could talk to Bianca Belair, or if I could talk to Sasha Banks. And Bayley pretty much was bearing the hell out of those girls, saying, no, look, I was the longest reigning, SmackDown Women's Champion. What about me? Those girls ain't got nothing over me and what I've accomplished, yada, yada, yada. So I don't know how it was done, but eventually Bischoff and the Hulkster, they made their exit. Something about, hey, Hulkster, didn't you get a new boat? Didn't you say you wanted to show me this new boat? And Hulkster was like, yeah, brother. So they pretty much disappeared. Titus was left hanging, and it was funny how he pretty much just made his exit like, sorry, Bayley, I really don't want to talk to you. Pretty much left her hanging. A lot of R's going on there in that opener too, between Bischoff and the Hulkster. A lot of R's. Hulkster knows a thing or two about words ending in the R, don't he? Anyway, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Tamina Snuka, Natalya. Good tag match amongst these ladies. I thoroughly had enjoyed this tag match. I got to give it up to them. I really do. I love this. Shayna Baszler particularly, I felt that she really had stepped her game up a little bit. There's still a few areas where I'd like to see Baszler improve upon. One of the things that I would like to see her improve upon is, when she's applying a move to somebody, I need her to, and it's the most simplistic thing that she can honestly do. I need her to practice her facial expressions a little bit more in the mirror. you know, as far as when she's applying a move to somebody and all that, or just kind of go back. And I don't know if she is. Maybe she is, to her own credit. But I just think that some of her facial expressions when she's applying moves to some of the opponents is a bit comical. And there were many points in this match tonight where some of her facial expressions were very comical. And I kind of wish it was, you know, not as animated, if you will. I also wish that rather than just apply a move, you know, I wish she would make some noises with regards to it. Now, she's doing okay as far as talking a little bit of trash to her opponent. If anything, I would like to see her do that a little bit more. But that seems to be the one main area where I would like for her to kind of, you know, work a bit more. But overall, I thought she did okay, particularly as I was paying very close attention to her. Natie, I don't have to worry about. I mean, she's that in-ring veteran. She's that glue that pretty much is going to hold a match together, right? Especially if it's a tag match. She's the one that's pretty much going to, if all else fails, you forget what you're supposed to do. 9 times out of 10, Natie is pretty much going to be able to help guide you through and everything. So no complaints with regards to Natie. Nia Jax, hilarious hearing the crowd boo Nia Jax. I love that. I love that on so many levels. That was actually pretty good. It kind of died down after a while, though, particularly once Tamina had got the tag. And I tell you what, man, Tamina got so much love tonight. She did. It had me in euphoria. I was loving it. I've been a Tamina fan for many years. Always had a soft spot for her. And remember what I said when I was offering predictions Friday night and I looked at the tag team turmoil and everything. I said, man, you know, Tamina, Natie, like that's the way to go, especially now that you've got a healthy Tamina and everything. You know, but I also made the argument, hey, these are going to be your new tag champions. It didn't pan out that way. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax still your women's tag champions. I don't agree with that move. I just don't, because who more of a formidable team than Nia Jax and Natie? And just the way Tamina and Nia were just going at it back and forth. I love that story being told where Tamina was trying to look for that, you know, that body slam, but Nia, you know, kind of so heavy and everything, and she's doing everything in her power to try to fight out of it, try not to get in that spot and everything, but eventually Tamina was able to get it in and everything. You know, it just really kind of makes me wonder, you know, if not now, where everything was aligned, then when? And the only thing I can say to tonight, is maybe the powers that be in WWE are now going to kind of take a step back and say, well, wait a minute here. Look at the type of reaction that Tamina and Natie got here. You know, we might actually have something here. Maybe we should try to have these girls go at it again. You know, maybe we could do about 2 more matches at 2 more pay-per-views, and maybe we can see it culminate in Tamina, Natie get the tag titles. I thought for sure it was going to be Tamina's night, but just to follow up on what I said on Twitter earlier tonight, I really hope that before she hangs it up, because she's been involved with WWE for over 10 years now. I mean, she's been with them since, what was it, like 2009, 2010. I really hope that before her career is all said and done, because, I mean, Father Time, you know, she's 43, okay, 43. So I hope that before she hangs it up, you know, I don't count the 24/7 title, because I know some people, they'll be quick to say, well, you know, not for nothing, but she won. You know, I look at that as the comical title. That's how I dub that. For me, I you know, whatever. I don't consider that one. You know, but I want to actually see her have a legit run, whether it be as a women's champion or women's tag champion. I'd like to see her get a fucking run. So we'll see. Knocking on wood for her. Kevin Owens taking on Sami Zayn. And remember, we had what's that guy's name? Paul Logan Logan Paul. 9 minutes, 20 seconds. Look, first off, and this may alienate some people, but respect where I'm coming from, and I respect where you're coming from, right? But what I researched about Logan Paul, because I told you guys on the other show, I said, I don't know anything about Logan Paul. I'll research him. I'll see what he's about and everything. And you know what? First of all, compliments to him. For him to have been working his social media game for as long as he's been working it. I mean, he pretty much was working his social media game pretty much since he was a kid. I think he started at like 10 or something like that. So the fact that he's been working his social media game that long, and he's in this position now where he's got all those millions of subscribers and all that, that's great. That is great. I know Forbes and them, they pretty much had put out there how much money he's bringing in each year. You know, I don't care about that, but like, hey, more power to you. If that means you're getting endorsement deals, you're getting attention here and there, more power to you. You know, I don't hate that. If anything, I hear that and I say, okay, well, you know, do a seminar, do a workshop or something, and help brothers like me and others that want to maybe eventually, you know, if not be able to get to that level, at least just have a fraction of it. Hell, 25% out of 100 is good. Even a modest 15% is good. You know, anything's better than zero, right? Even a 1% is better than zero. But where I frowned a little bit was some of the controversies that I saw came down with him from and I'm trying to make sure I'm understanding this right. He actually tased rats on video. You know, like live rats, dead rats. I mean, just the fact that you're tasing rats on video. Okay. And then the other controversy where he says these disparaging, disgusting racial things about blacks and Japanese people that apparently had came to surface a couple of years ago. There was some other incident that had went down. I'm just looking at all of these things and I'm just going, God damn, WWE. So you just don't give a fuck, do you, man? You just don't give a fuck. You're just gonna put all that to the side and you're just gonna think about the almighty dollar, you know, the brand awareness, just the rub off. That's pretty much what this is all about for you. I just kind of felt like, man, you guys could have went in so many other directions as far as celebrities go that don't have those type of controversies. I mean, come on, man. You know, yeah, that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So once I found out what I had found out about Logan Paul, you guys got to forgive me, but I wasn't particularly fond of him. Didn't care for him before, and I doubled down after researching what was going on with that guy. But Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn doing their match. Yo, straight up, no bullshit. Ring of Honor alumni is representing yet again. I loved it. It was awesome seeing what had went down night one. Because, I mean, night one, oh, the Ring of Honor alumni, they fucking brought it, man. They fucking brought it. I'm talking about, of course, Cesaro and Seth Rollins. But Owens and Sami Zayn, they definitely lived up as Ring of Honor alumni. They lived up to that spot that they had at Mania tonight, and they definitely lived up to what Cesaro and Rollins did. Good fucking action that went down there. You know, for me, you know, if anything, I just wish that their match was a little bit longer. I mean, 9 minutes and 20 seconds. I mean, that's like a bite-sized little sample, man. I wasn't really feeling that. I thought for sure that Logan Paul was maybe gonna have some type of interference in this match or something like that, but he just pretty much looked on as a spectator, chilling right beside the commentating team and everything. Owens defeating Sami Zayn. You know, what happens from here? Does Sami Zayn continue to go with the whole conspiracy theory and all that? I would like to believe so. I would like to believe this doesn't just shut him up and have him just go try something else, right? I mean, I would like to believe that. Owens winning in true fashion too, winning via the stunner. Post-match, Logan Paul got in the ring, and he actually was trying to celebrate with Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn was pretty livid about it, saying to him, I brought you over here. You're my guest. You're not his guest. You're my guest. What the hell are you doing? You're supposed to be in my corner. You know, you're my friend. What the hell? Logan Paul, was trying to calm him down, but Zayn wasn't having it. Continued to trash talk him, and Paul just ended up pushing Sami Zayn flat on his ass. Zayn rolls out. The hell with you guys. Y'all can have each other. Screw you and screw you. The hell with you guys. So he rolled out. Paul raises Kevin Owens' hand up and everything. And at this point, I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of on to something with regards to Logan Paul. Because when Logan Paul was in the ring and he was trying to, with Kevin Owens, have that moment with Kevin Owens, the crowd, Tampa crowd, they were not having it. They were not having it. They were booing him. So you're looking at that, you're kind of going, see, here's the thing. In research, what I was able to research, and 9 times out of 10, I bet you for maybe every 100 fans you spoke to that were in the arena there, you probably had out of what, let's not say 100, let's make that a little smaller. Maybe for like every 10 fans at that arena that you spoke to, there probably was about maybe 3 out of those 10 that knew what I knew, and they were kind of, I don't particularly, right? But see, here's where things are kind of blurry. The fact that he got some type of a reaction, that could make certain people, God damn it, I think we need to do something there with that Wolverine Logan, what's his name? Yeah, we need to do something with that kid. That's the unfortunate part. But I know what the boos really meant when it's all said and done. But I did love seeing Owens stun the shit out of Logan Paul. That did make me lose my shit. I actually had enjoyed that. Backstage segment, Matt Riddle bumps into the Great Khali. He's chatting it up with him. And he's trying to propose some business opportunities to the Great Khali and everything. By the way, remember the Great Khali's promo from Hall of Fame Ceremony Night? Great Khali basically was saying, I don't know why, but for some reason tonight I cannot be here with you. Remember that? Yeah, Khali was definitely there in person for Mania. He was there. He was chilling out backstage, came out later on and everything. He was there, but yeah, he was chatting it up with Riddle. Then RVD crashes the scene. RVD had a nice little moment there where he actually was sharing some of his hemp CBD products and shit. So that was a nice little spot that we got there. And you know what? Not for nothing, but just that whole Riddle RVD combo screen time there, that just made me kick back and go, whoa, yeah, you know what, dude? That'd be kind of badass. Like, that is a dream match right there when you think about it. RVD in his prime taking on Matt Riddle. That would be, fire. That would be fire. Especially if they were a tag team too. Oh, man, that would be fucking money. Straight fucking money. Next matchup of the evening, fourth matchup of the evening, Sheamus taking on Riddle for the United States Championship. As far as matches of the night, I got to give it up to both of these men. This was a fucking instant classic. I got to be honest with you guys. As far as the matches go for the evening, for me, my particular order, my number one would actually be Sheamus and Riddle. My number 2 would actually be Edge, Roman, Daniel Bryan. Those would be my top 2. And then my number 3 would be Owens and Zayn. In that order. If I were to give an honorable mention to maybe one other match, I would say honorable mention to Big E and Apollo Crews, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But for right now, let's stay with Sheamus and Riddle for just a little bit longer. Great fucking matchup. Great matchup. The one spot that I loved in particular, they had some really good spots in there, but what I loved most about some of the spots that they were doing, there was smoothness to it, with the exception of one area. But there was a lot of smoothness, great transitions, when it came to the counters and everything in this matchup. For example, I loved when Matt Riddle did the overhead belly to belly. That was fucking badass. I loved it. I mean, when he does those belly to bellies, I've seen a lot of people do it over the years, but he makes it look very effortless. He does. Very fluid, the way that he does it. One critical moment where Matt Riddle does a flip over the ropes, and Riddle ends up meeting a knee to the face by Sheamus. I mean, that shit, it was like a gunshot went off. That was an insane freaking spot right there. Sheamus then gets rammed into the ring post. That got followed up by a back suplex just outside of the apron. It's a nice little. I sometimes cringe when I see those spots happen on the outside of the ropes, with that little piece of the apron, just that little bit of a side there of that apron. I always cringe when people take spots right there, because I just keep telling myself, man, just one bad, all it takes is just one, and then all of a sudden, nah, we're not doing that shit anymore. But it just seems like they're doing roulette every time with that shit. It just seems like it every time. Now, remember, I told you guys there was a lot of smoothness that was going on, great transitioning and the countering and all that. But there was one spot where it was, and that was the spot where Sheamus and Matt Riddle were fighting in a corner on the top turnbuckle. And you were thinking, okay, looks like Riddle's about to maybe get something here. But then it was actually Sheamus on the offense, and he was getting ready to do the white noise. He was actually getting ready to do a white noise from the top turnbuckle. Let me take a quick swig. Good shit. Tonight's choice of beverage, by the way, I still got my IPA. I'm probably going to have some more of that after the show is over, but taking it easy tonight. I got me some Mike's Hard Lemonade. Drink responsibly. Please be 21 years of age or older. That white noise. Oh, man. I'm glad Sheamus did not go through with the white noise, because, you could just see him struggling. And like I was telling my family, I said, not for nothing, but when he does that white noise from the top turnbuckle, because I've seen him do it many times over the years, he's usually on point. And for me, I just kind of felt that maybe a little bit of fatigue was starting to kick in for him. Think about it. At this point, both of these men, they've worked up quite a sweat and everything. So, and as we've seen with Riddle, Riddle, he works himself up pretty good there. He works up a nice little sweat. So I'm glad Sheamus did not try to follow through with that white noise, because it was an accident waiting to happen. You could just see him fumbling and all that. And somehow it ends up, coming back to the surface, where Sheamus is able to, regain his composure and grabbing onto Riddle, does a little running white noise. But then to make up for the spot earlier, he climbs up to the top turnbuckle on the opposite end, and he does a nice, good driving knee into the chest area of Riddle. Nice fucking spot. I was loving all of that shit, man. They were telling a really good story. The fact that I remember stuff like that should let you know how good the psychology was with regards to that match. Closing moments of this one, Matt Riddle, he had bounced off of the second rope. It was almost like he was looking for a lion salt, and fucking Sheamus just came in there with basically, if you want to call it the bro kick, you can call it the bro kick. But I tell you what, it was like the heel of Sheamus's boot, like the tip of it, wham, to Riddle's mouth. It got him good, because he actually ended up bleeding like almost instantly. Boom, bro kick right there. 1, 2, 3. Sheamus, your new United States champion. that for me, I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming. Again, those boys went about 10 minutes, 50 seconds. Sheamus, your new United States champion. You know what? I got no problem with this. I was so confident that Riddle was going to walk out of this still the champion. The fact that Sheamus got the title, I think that is a testament. And I'm following up on something that I said on social media earlier tonight. The fact that they did that for Sheamus, that's a testament to how much he's appreciated on the roster. When you look at the great matches that he had with Keith Lee, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, Riddle thrown into the mix. I mean, for the month of February and March, and definitely, you know, early part of April here, he has been the MVP of Monday Night Raw. So the fact that he got tossed a bone like this, you know, I think that's basically compliments of the chef. They really been appreciating his work and everything. And I'll tell you what, if Sheamus can keep this up, you know, this new momentum that he's been on, this new wave that he's been on, if he can keep it up, keep putting in them solid ass matches like that and everything, I don't know, guys, our boy may actually become a WWE champion before you know it. Possibly before 2021 is up. You know, we'll have to wait and see how things play out. Good matchup, though. One of my absolute favorites. And like I said, that one I actually would put at number one on my list. Respectfully. Next matchup, Big E taking on Apollo Crews. Intercontinental Championship match. Remember, this one was being contested in a Nigerian drum fight. This one went 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Remember what I said Friday, WrestleMania 37 predictions. You know, remember what I said. I said the chase is better than the catch. Remember that? I've been saying that for years now. The chase is better than the catch. These boys told a damn good story. I gotta give them props. I love seeing Apollo Crews come out there, and he's got this big ass fucking, you know, you're looking at it and you're going, is that a metallic Q-tip? Like, what the fuck does he got right there? Like, what's going on there? And you know, nice, cool as epic entrance and everything. Big E's entrance, you know, having Wale do it and everything. I laughed my ass off at that fucking entrance, yo, because, you know, you got Wale, you know, he's rapping and everything, right? And, you know, Big E comes out and the mic, I mean, he moves the mic away from his mouth, clear as day. And he's giving dabs to Big E and everything, and a little high five and all that shit. You know, and the mic is far away from his mouth. And you just hear, you know, the singing in the PA basically, and you're going, oh, so our boy's lip syncing, and he just don't give a fuck. You know, my man could have just had the rap song playing, and he just be eating a pizza, you know, and then, you know, once he's done chewing it up and everything, you know, puts the mic back in his face, you know, you're faking out and everything. It just had me had shades of Soul Train from back in the day, man, because I remember you had many artists that would come by Soul Train, and they would take advantage of the lip syncing. We're like, also, you know, we just let the actual song play, and I can just lip sync. You know, and Don Cornelius, yeah, brother, that's what you could do. You just go ahead and lip sync. Like, oh, okay, cool. Patti LaBelle, if I'm not mistaken, because there was a few that was like, nah, I'm not lip syncing. Patti LaBelle was one of the few early on, if I remember correctly, that did not do lip syncing when she would appear on Soul Train. However, like in her later years, she just went on ahead and said, nah, fuck it, you know. But no, yeah, you had a few that were like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna actually sing this goddamn joint. It gave me a lot of respect later on for, I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but it gave me a lot of respect later on for, who is this group? For New Year's Day, when they came out and they were performing the Brutality joint. for Rhea Ripley. And, you know, Ash from New Year's Day, the group, she actually was singing. You know, now you heard like the actual studio version of the song playing, but she was choosing carefully where she wanted for the studio to come in, and then she would come in and she actually was singing. It had me give her a lot of respect, because it was like, that's how you do it. It's like, just go out there and, you know, don't half-ass it, you know, not half-ass it, but don't just go out there and just be so goddamn blatant with it, you know. But as some of my buddies had told me earlier tonight, they said, Lee, this is the new trend now. A lot of these artists, especially the rappers, they will just put on a fucking tape and they will just lip sync to that shit. They don't give a fuck. I'm like, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. But this was a hell of an entertaining match. I loved it from the moment that this match pretty much, boom, let's go. I mean, these guys are grabbing kendo sticks and they're taking turns, you know, swinging the fuck out of each other. Loved it. I loved it until eventually Apollo Crews, no more, please, my friend, no more. And he just hauled his ass out the ring. Big E giving chase to him and everything. I loved it. Great little spots. By the way, it was awesome hearing the little kids chanting for Big E. I loved that. One little boy in particular, let's go, Big E! I loved it. It made me smile, because it's like, these kids, they probably look at Big E, you know, his bombastic, loud personality and everything, you know, how robust he is. And, you know, they probably look at him as a real life superhero. I mean, God, he's built like a superhero, hey? So it was awesome hearing the kids chant Big E on and everything. Big E connects with the big ending. He's getting ready to go for the cover when a mysterious big ass dude, you know, he looks like he's either Latin or Samoan. This big ass motherfucker just comes out of nowhere, grabs Big E and pretty much does a Dikembe Mutombo, not in my house, no, and pretty much puts a mud stomping in his ass. I mean, whoops him big time. Lays out Big E, pretty much takes a slain Apollo, if you will, puts Apollo's corpse over Big E. 1, 2, 3, and that's how we got ourselves a new United States champion. And I was very quick. I was among the first to point out to people on social media, shout out if you remember who this guy is, give you a hint. And I posted a picture of him when he was on Raw Underground. So that's probably where you guys maybe remember him. I know the getup that he was wearing tonight, you know, it looked a bit, you know, it might have threw you off a little bit, but just picture him in a wife beater t-shirt, some black slacks or whatever, mohawk, and there you go. Dabba Kato. That's who you saw tonight. And remember, pretty much last time we saw him, it was pretty much on Raw Underground. So I thought that was kind of cool. So if you really stop and think about it, AJ Styles has his henchman. He's got his big boss man, if you will, and Omos. Okay, so that's the Raw side of the deal. And then you go over to SmackDown. So now Apollo Crews has his big man, and his big man is Dabba Kato. Assuming that's still his name. It could have very well changed by now. He may be repackaged yet again. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe his new name will be Yabba Dabba Doo. Never know. But that's cool. That's actually pretty badass. It's pretty badass. So, you know, it appears now that Apollo Crews is, you know, kind of having his own little mini stable there almost. You know, what's being built there. And the chase, as I like to say, is better than the catch. It's going to be exciting. I promise you guys. Those of you that are a little bit hurt right now with regards to Big E, and don't be. You guys are gonna love this chase that Big E is getting ready to do after Apollo for that Intercontinental title and everything. These guys are pretty much just going to continue to elevate each other's game and everything. They've been complimenting the hell out of each other thus far, and they're barely starting to scratch the surface with this feud and the eventual big break off, to continue on in their own respected singles career paths and everything. So don't get all whacked out of shape on this one. This is actually a very good thing for both men when you really take a step back and think about it. And look, anytime I can watch SmackDown, I have a hard time sitting down watching it as it is, because I'm watching a whole bunch of other shit, especially non-wrestling related content. I have a hard time sitting down and catching up on SmackDown. Most times I'm watching the highlights. But from the little bit that I've seen with Big E, Apollo, I like it. Besides Roman Reigns, it's been one of my favorite highlights from SmackDown. So you definitely should continue to get behind both of these guys in this story arc that's going down right now. Good, it's good shit. It's good shit. I don't mind it. Let's see. What's our? By the way, sweet spots and a complaint with regards to the Big E Apollo Crews match. The sick ass Uranagi that was applied to Apollo Crews on the steel steps outside the ring. That was a sweet ass spot. Love that. My biggest gripe out of that match, the terrible camera cutting. Oh my god, it was ridiculous. Every single time, like Big E was trying to go for an attack or whatever, and he's just laying in on Apollo. You had this one point where the camera just zoom in, out, in, out, in, out. I mean, it was ridiculous. It almost kind of reminded me, and I know you guys recall this, it almost reminded me of that one infamous Raw where you had the cameraman, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody was getting beat up by the stage ramp, and the cameraman was just, he had his camera, and he's just going up and down and shit. I mean, the jerky fucking camera angle cutting, man, I wasn't feeling it. It was very distracting. It almost got to a point where it was starting to make me feel a little bit nauseous, quite honestly. I was not feeling that shit. Less of that, please, WWE. Less of that, please. All right, what's our next matchup? Oh, there was a really cool spot with Bad Bunny and Triple H. I mean, this got the cinematic touch too. It was good shit. So basically, Bad Bunny, he got out of this vehicle, and Triple H is just chilling in the middle of this highway or whatever. And as you're looking at this, you're thinking to yourself, God, this comes off like a scene from Breaking Bad. What the fuck is going on here? Triple H, he's got his little Motorhead t-shirt on, his little black collar jacket and everything. And he's pretty much saying to Bad Bunny, you did real good at WrestleMania. Really proud of you. You did a fantastic job. But now it's time for you to go back out there and do what you do best. And he hands him this big ass yellow fucking briefcase. And I'm thinking to myself, either we got a Pulp Fiction thing going on, or we got some mad fucking icky sticky green going on in that case. Like what's going on? So Bad Bunny, he takes the case, he gives Triple H a dab or whatever. He gets in his vehicle and all that. And if I remember right, I believe Bad Bunny maybe was on top of a diesel truck again or something. I don't know, but we see him open up the case, and it's basically like a Triple H inspired, really cool, badass, silver metallic microphone. It's got skulls and all that shit. And basically, it's promoting what was done. It was promoting when Bad Bunny goes on tour. Apparently, he's going to be doing, I don't know if it's a world tour or what, but he's going to be going on tour sometime in 2022. And tickets are going to be available for that pretty soon. I got to tell you, as long as I have been watching the WWE product, if I'm lucky, maybe just off my hand, just one hand, I can recall instances where WWE did something really cool where, a particular artist that, they really fucked with, was really good to them. They went on ahead and, plugged their upcoming, concert or some shit like that, dates or how to get information and all that. Damn, it's so funny too, because of all the times when they worked with Motorhead, I never saw anything, right? You think about Metallica, hey, want to remind you that Metallica is doing their So Fucking What tour. It's going down, like, you never. So just the fact that they did that for Bad Bunny, just to double down on what I had said yesterday, that shows you how much respect they truly have for Bad Bunny and everything. And honestly, I can't wait to hear many of the superstars, particularly Miz, Morrison, and Damian Priest. I can't wait to hear them. And Bad Bunny, in his own words, I can't wait to, but particularly the guys I mentioned before, I can't wait to really hear how it was for them to work with Bad Bunny and give us little insight, little nuggets of stuff that we may not know, and just to give us more insight into the man and how serious he took it and everything. But just the fact that they were willing to promote his shit as far as when he goes out on tour, that shows you how much respect they got for the man. All right, let's see here. Our next matchup of the night, Rhea Ripley taking on Asuka, singles match, Raw Women's Championship. Our girls win 13 minutes, 30 seconds. Rhea Ripley becoming your new Raw Women's Champion. Look, Rhea Ripley, she went out there fucking pro. She went out there like a fucking pro, man. If there was one person that I was slightly anticipating that would, the crowd just may kind of get to her a little bit here. She may get a little bit rattled here, because this is probably the biggest that she's performed in front of, since she's, been on the roster and everything. And I was expecting for there to be a little bit of jitters. I was expecting for there to be, a little bit of nervousness going on there. But Rhea Ripley went into this great poised. She, very matter of fact, she went in there, did not seem unshaken at all. You could tell she was taking it in. You could definitely tell that. For somebody that was supposed to be coming out there and kind of come off like a badass and everything, she definitely seemed pretty full of glee. She definitely looked pretty fucking psyched that New Year's Day was performing her theme and all of that, and nice little hand gesture from Ash and everything. Pretty badass and everything. Asuka coming out, and look, these two, they had a really damn good match as far as I was concerned. This went exactly how I thought it was going to go down. I was expecting for Asuka to really rise to the occasion. As far as the story goes, I was really expecting for her to rise to the occasion and really make Rhea not only work for it, but I knew in my heart this match wasn't going to be just Rhea Ripley's going to steamroll. Because we've kind of seen what Rhea can do in NXT, and at some points, it kind of seems like she can just steamroll through, some competition and everything. But I like the fact that, Asuka, in the way that this match was booked, it was like, no, Asuka has not been holding on to this championship for as long as she's been holding it, just to, basically come off looking extremely weak against Rhea Ripley and everything. Asuka did a really good job in putting Rhea Ripley over and everything, because when you really stop and you think about it, you gotta consider some of the women that Asuka has faced over the years and everything. So that's damn good bragging rights and storyline that, okay, you beat somebody that, when you stop and think about it. At the same time, however, you now got this backdoor for when Charlotte Flair returns. And Charlotte Flair essentially making the claim of, okay, look, let's be honest. And look, not for nothing, but if WWE was fucking smart, they should turn that bullshit about the fake pregnancy tests and all that shit, especially given what Andrade has said and everything. If WWE was fucking smart, they would have fucking Charlotte Flair come back and say, you know, hey, Rhea, you know, see that you're the new Raw Women's Champion. Congratulations. Looks like you got it done at WrestleMania. But, you know why you ultimately got the spot that you did at WrestleMania and how all of this was possible? Well, it was because of me. And I would just love it if WWE could just rip it from the headlines, basically. Own it, spin it, and basically tweak it in a fashion where it's revealed that Rhea Ripley is the one responsible for Charlotte Flair being out these past couple of weeks. Because remember that story that was going around about, oh, well, according to WWE personnel, when they were the COVID test, yada, 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 it turns out you were pregnant or some stupid shit like that. Man, I would love it if it turns out that in storyline, you know, they could just say something along the lines of Rhea Ripley had paid somebody, you know, some hush money to try to do what they could to alter the test or some bullshit like that. I would love it if they did some shit like that, because then you could have Charlotte Flair essentially say, you screwed me out of my spot at WrestleMania rather than trying to, you know, face me one-on-one, you know, and try to earn it the right way or whatever. Because I would like to know exactly, you know, what type of champion are we getting here from Rhea Ripley? Because so far, she's come off like the type of arrogant, you know, very cocky, you know, it seems like she's somewhere between a heel and a tweener, whereas Asuka was just pure babyface. So I'm a little bit curious where we're gonna go with Rhea Ripley there. So WWE writers, the bookers, they got some homework on their hands. But that's what I would do with Charlotte Flair. I would not just have Charlotte Flair just come back and do the simple wham, I wasn't here, man. Just rip it from the headlines and fucking, that's what they used to do in the past when you really stop and think about it. Anything that was put out there and it had, you know, before the Twitter and all that had really, you know, exploded and everything, whatever rumblings or rumors, it used to be a time where WWE, okay, they think that, okay, well, let's have some fun with them. Let's go ahead, let's play with that, and let's fucking, you know, well, let's work them a little bit. I wish they would kind of go back to shit like that. This would be a damn good opportunity for them to go back and do stuff like that. As far as, she's going to make a good champion. She's going to make a really good champion. I personally feel, you know, we've known about this match that was going to go down between Asuka and Rhea Ripley. You know, did it happen pretty much at short notice? Yes, it did. But remember, we got to understand why, and the circumstances why Rhea Ripley pretty much had, we got to understand that. We only can speculate what would have happened had Charlotte not got those false test results, what the outcome might have been. Would it have been Charlotte that would have essentially won the title at Mania, or would it have been a triple threat match? You know, we'll never really know, sadly. But WWE had to pull an audible. They had to, at a really significant time, because they essentially really did not have enough star power as far as their female talent. Rhea Ripley, one of the hottest upcoming things that was going on in NXT, getting a lot of praise. Okay, let's pluck her. Let's put her over here. You know, not quite the build up that I think she should have. She didn't quite get the build up I was anticipating. You know, I kind of wish that she had a couple of more months under her belt. But sometimes, you know, hey, when opportunity knocks, what are you going to do? You're going to say, I'm not ready yet. Come back to me in a couple of weeks. Like, nah, it's going to go to somebody else by then. You better get on this shit now, especially if you want that money. You better stop faking. Asuka, on the other hand, look, I told you guys, every week, seeing Asuka, and you like pizza? Yeah, seeing her do, I need to see. I need to see the fucking Asuka that I fucked with way before she came to the WWE. I need to see Kana. I need to see the return of Kana. That's what I need to see right now. She's worked her ass off hard for WWE. She's been an MVP. Look, not for nothing. I'm not gonna take anything away from Asuka, but during that pandemic, crunch time and all that, when they really needed for motherfuckers to step up, Asuka was definitely one of those people that had stepped up to the plate. She did. Besides Drew McIntyre, she also was one that has stepped up significantly. And if you guys recall, there was a period of months there where, for the women's side, Asuka was carrying the fuck until Sasha and Bayley started cranking it up, right? They started elevating their game and shit. So, but at this point, I would love to see Asuka just enjoy herself for a little bit. I don't think it's gonna happen, but me personally, I would love it if she could just recharge her batteries for a little bit, take about 2 months off, maybe 3 months, come back. I would love to see, the real Empress of Tomorrow return. I want to see that badass bitch, Kana, that I used to fuck with on the Independents and everything. That's the fucking Asuka I'd like to see come back and everything and do some I'm gonna go medieval on your ass type of shit. That's what I would like to see go down. More on that to come. See, we got one more match to talk about. I don't think there's anything else in addition I need to mention with regards to that. By the way, in case you had missed it, we saw the WrestleMania 38 promo yet again with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was going to be at the AT&T Stadium on April 3rd, 2022. I was already talking to the missus, and I said, hey, yo, we got to try to see if we can. I told her, I said, ain't Dolly World out there? She's like, no, it's not, hun. I'm like, well, ain't it on our way? She's like, no, hun, it's in Tennessee. She's like, for WrestleMania, we'd have to fly out there. I'm like, oh, we'd have to fly? She's like, yeah, we'd have to fly. I'm like, okay, but, let's see what we can do. She's like, oh, okay, let's see what we can do. We'll work on it. I'm like, okay, cool. So, fingers crossed. We're going to try to see if we can go to WrestleMania 38 next year. I hope you guys try to make the effort to go, too. I mean, not for nothing. Stone Cold Steve Austin, he still has a home and all that in Texas. I would like to believe that somehow he's going to be incorporated with the festivities that WrestleMania weekend, whether he ends up being the host or... and I would like to believe Undertaker is going to be doing something as well. For all we know, Vince and crew, they may still have that little bit of a chip on their shoulders where, man, we want to make sure that we really have Undertaker get the proper send-off here because, he didn't really get it. It was in an empty arena. He deserves to get it. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. So hopefully you guys are kind of thinking those things that I've been thinking, and maybe consider, assuming where you are financially and all that, because we know everybody's going through what they're going through. But hopefully Lady Luck shines on you in the coming months, and if you're able to do Mania, hopefully you're thinking like I'm thinking. Nah, something cool is going to happen here, and you capitalize. We got one more match to talk about. Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Edge and Daniel Bryan. Triple threat match for the Universal Championship. 21 minutes, 40 seconds. Your tribal chief, the head of the table. Nobody eats until he eats. Roman Reigns. Still your Universal Champion. I love it. I love it. I love it. As far as predictions go, by the way, night one, I only missed one match. Night two, 1, 2, 3. Night 2, I missed. Out of the 7 matches, there was 3 I missed. I damn sure did not miss the Roman Reigns joint. I damn sure did not miss that. This was a damn good triple threat match. It didn't dawn on me until I was actually looking at our boys' entrances, respectfully. And I like the fact that Daniel Bryan, he had this really cool white, green, touch of brown going on with his attire. And I don't know if anybody else had spotted this, but when you looked at his boots and his knee pads, it had a really cool tree design. It was really badass. You could see, like, green leaves and everything. It was pretty badass. I thought that was kind of cool. And it actually had me reminiscing with the family. I said, damn, I said, y'all remember when Daniel Bryan was the Planet Champion? Like, remember that? And we start cracking jokes. Like, yeah, remember that title? It's like, what was it? Hemp leather or whatever? Remember that shit? And we were just having a ball going down memory lane with that. All those guys, they look so fucking stoked seeing those crowds. So fucking stoked, especially Edge. And it didn't really dawn on me until I looked at Edge, and I was like, wow. Think about that for a second. When Edge returned at the Royal Rumble, that was pretty much the last, essentially the last major WWE event where there was a crowd, remember? And then afterwards, pandemic hit, and Edge pretty much in a fucking empty arena. Even when he got injured, came back, empty arena. So this was Edge's second time since he's been back this rodeo. This was his second time being able to perform in front of a major live crowd, okay? Again, when you just look at it from a pay-per-view scale, what I'm talking about, from a pay-per-view scale, this was his second major pay-per-view where it was in front of a large audience, and you could just tell he was really taking all the sights and sounds in. I wouldn't be surprised if he had got fucking goosebumps as well. He had a really cool attire too, by the way. I actually was fucking with his attire. As far as entrances, like, night 1, you could probably make the argument Bad Bunny had the most cool, maybe peculiar entrance. You could kind of maybe make that argument. Bray Wyatt definitely by far had a really cool entrance, considering. As far as cool attires for night 1, I liked what Daniel Bryan had going on with the boots there. Because I look at shit like that. Because I'm an artist. So I look at shit like that. I thought his shit was cool. Edge's attire was pretty badass. Because, you're like, oh, Edge is coming out to his usual, stuff. But he was wearing white. A little bit of red as well. And his coat kind of looked like it was white denim. Believe it or not. Like it was a white denim type of long trench coat. Well, that was kind of badass. All these guys, they did good. Jey Uso coming out there with Roman Reigns and everything. You're going, okay, let's see what's going to happen here. And if you guys were playing DraftKings, I actually tried it out just to try it out and see if that's something I could kind of, maybe recommend to you guys. Because I know that's what some of you guys are getting into these days, is shit like DraftKings and everything. And they had one polling joint where they, you pretty much, hey, what do you think is going to happen? Blah, 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 blah. And when it came to the triple threat match, they basically said, who do you think is going to get more spears between Roman Reigns and Edge? And then another question they asked was, do you think there's going to be interference? Do you think a foreign object is going to be used? They also had asked about Asuka taking on Rhea Ripley. It was free to enter. I signed up. It took me just a matter of seconds. I was able to sign up. I did not give them my credit card information. I just wanted to jump right into playing the free event and everything. And if you guys could indulge me for a second, I can tell you how I did with this main event match. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe if I go to home. Some of you guys know about this a little better than I do. Okay, so I think it's under free pools. Free pools, and where is the WrestleMania joint? I'm trying to see if I could find it. Yeah, it disappeared, so I can't tell you now. Maybe I can filter by. Nope. So I'll have to rely on you guys that oh wait, there it is. I see it now. Hang on. And I'll tell you exactly how I did. So yeah. So they asked the question, who will leave as WWE Universal Champion? I went with Roman Reigns. And then the question was asked, who will be pinned or submitted? And then they asked if a foreign object was going to be used. They also asked if Jey Uso will interfere. And then they asked, who do you think will have the most spears? They also asked, who do you think is going to leave as the Raw Women's Champion? For that Asuka versus Ripley match, they wanted to know the method of the victory. Like if it was going to be by pinfall, by disqualification, or if it was going to be by submission. They also wanted to know for Asuka versus Ripley, will a foreign object be used by either superstar? And when I look at my standings, I can tell you in a hot second. Let me look at my entries. Yeah, when I look at my entries, I was totally correct. And everything that I had went with. I was correct on everything. You know what that won me? That won me a whopping 87 cents. That out of that 25,000 jackpot or whatever they were talking about. But if you ask me if it's something you guys should check out, ask me again in a couple of weeks. I want to play around with it a little bit more for you guys. Try to get the ins and the outs and the navigating and all that. Ask me again in a couple of weeks. I'll play around with it a little bit more. That match went exactly how I thought it was gonna go, as far as Jey Uso just off the break making his presence felt, because my man was just, he went Young Bucks on everybody's ass out there. It's a super kick party. He was just super kick for you. He laid everybody out. That shit was hilarious. And I'm just looking at Jey Uso. He's like, come on, Uso. You got this. Come on, Uso. Shit was hilarious. But then Edge eventually, worked his way to Jey Uso after he recovered from getting a super kick by him. And he pretty much gave his ass a DDT on some steel steps. And Jey Uso sold the fuck out of that. He sold that so damn well. They had EMTs come out. And so you're kind of having it in the back of your mind. Okay, so we'll probably see Jey Uso a little bit later on in this match. But for now, it's just going to be these three guys. That's pretty much going to be fighting. Oh, okay, cool. All right, that's good. Paul Heyman. God, Paul Heyman is just... I was telling my family the whole time when this was watched, I said, watch Paul Heyman's face. I'm like, look at Paul Heyman. Like, Paul Heyman does not get enough credit. I keep trying to hit people to Paul Heyman. I'm like, if you really want to get lost into a match, just look at Paul Heyman. Look at his facial expressions. He really tells the fucking story. And I just love seeing Paul Heyman's facial expressions when Jey Uso was being carted off. Jey Uso kind of looked like, oh my God, I lost my fucking meal ticket. It was kind of, my golden goose, my ace. It was kind of like one of those type of deals. I know Paul Heyman doesn't sound like that. But, he almost kind of had that kind of look on his face. And then as Edge was starting to recover, he's actually for a hot little bit. It seems like he's maybe going after Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman, like, I ain't never seen Paul run so fast in his life before. But he actually gets back in the ring, meets up with Daniel Bryan, Edge that is, gets back in the ring, meets up with Daniel Bryan, and both of them are slugging it out for a hot little bit while Roman Reigns, he's recovering, he's staggering everything, looking on at what's going down and everything. But eventually he gets back in there as well. Great dynamics that they had with regards to this match. I was a bit concerned for Edge because you heard some of those stories that was floating around about Edge. You heard something along the lines of, oh, well, his recent performance, behind the scenes, basically like practicing or whatever you want to call it. You heard the reports supposedly that Vince McMahon was a little bit concerned about Edge, in a one-on-one type of deal, and that as a result, Daniel Bryan is going to be needed here, but I got to tell you, based on what I had saw tonight from Edge, it felt like I was watching old Edge. It felt like the Edge I was watching from 10 years ago before he retired. I don't know how it was for you guys, but I didn't see anything that was cautionary. Some of the spots that Edge was doing, I remember there was one spot where Daniel Bryan and Edge were fighting, and if I remember right, Edge, like Daniel Bryan did something to Edge, and Edge did like this, he tossed him, if I remember it right. Edge got tossed, and he landed on his back, and I was like, okay, so Edge can do that? Okay, cool. Edge was taking bumps in this one, so I didn't see anything that was cautionary. You feel me? I didn't see anything like that. Damn fucking good. Super kick party. That's what that shit was. Super kick fucking party. What else had happened in the match that I thought was interesting? For me, I thought it was gonna come down to a battle of the spears. And if I recall right, Edge connected with 4 spears. Roman Reigns connected with 2. Now, the first time there was a spear, you had a sweet-ass spot there where Roman Reigns and Edge, they were fighting one-on-one for a hot minute. They both bounced off the ropes, tried to go for a spear on one another at the same time, and it pretty much had countered. So that was pretty much one apiece at that point. I love the fact that Daniel Bryan went into this match, and the story that was playing out for Daniel Bryan was, you are not going to overlook me. You are not going to forget about me. One of y'all asses is going down by me. And I loved how he just kept reasserting himself into the picture, right down to the point, when you think about it, it was actually Daniel Bryan that went a bit sadistic. It was actually Daniel Bryan that went medieval and took it to that next level. Because remember, even after Edge had grabbed the steel chairs, the first rodeo, and he was trying to do some shit there to both opponents. Remember, when he took the steel chairs in there, and he was getting ready to take it to Roman Reigns, and they kind of went back and forth a little bit. He had a piece of that steel chair come off. You're looking at that, you're going, okay, that was not on purpose. That's by design. That's gonna play a hand. Sure enough, when Edge put on the crossface on Roman Reigns, and then a little bit later on, he grabs that same loose part from the steel chair, uses that for that crossface. Roman looked like he was about to give up at like any fucking second. And I think at that point, if I remember right, that's when Jey Uso had came into the scene yet again. That's when he came back and everything. But the sweet spot there where Daniel Bryan for a good minute was focusing on Edge's neck. It's like, hey, you got a bad neck, huh? Remember that he was trash talking. He's like, you got a bad neck, huh? Stomping on that neck, really working it, trying to go. Oh, I loved it. Just the storytelling in that was so fucking awesome. I loved it. I fucking loved it. Seeing Madman Edge, the opportunist, right? Seeing him take that steel chair and basically do a double chair shato on both guys in the ring, and just the way that he fucking sold that. If you guys didn't get a chance, I mean, he really complimented the hell out of that verbal exchange that he had with Paul Heyman on Talking Smack. By now, if you guys didn't see it, you need to look it up. It's like the best 2-minute fucking clip that you guys will fucking see from Talking Smack this past week. It was fucking fire. You know, you're looking at that craziness there with Edge. You're going, okay, this is definitely over. Like this is it. You know, Edge is pretty much gonna fucking get this, and you know we're over and done. Now, where I'm a little bit kind of confused, I thought Jey Uso maybe had appeared right when Roman Reigns was maybe about to pass out or whatever. He only appeared a second time. And now that I'm really thinking about it, it was actually after Edge did the double Chashato on both guys and all that. And then he was trying to make Roman tap out or whatever. Uso gets in there, loans the assist. Roman Reigns comes in, takes advantage of the opportunity. He pretty much, I'm trying to think, how the fuck did Roman Reigns in that? Roman Reigns ended with a spear, now that I'm thinking about it, yes. Because remember, I said 4-2 as far as the spears goes. Roman Reigns speared the shit out of Edge, thanks to the distraction there by Jey Uso ultimately, and dragged Edge's corpse over Daniel Bryan's, and Roman Reigns pretty much laid over both of them to get the 1-2-3 to retain the Universal Championship. Ain't no doubt about it. Can't no motherfucker in storyline say, well, you didn't beat me, so I still lay claim to... Nah. You both got your ass whooped. This really could have gone Edge or Roman Reigns. It really could have gone either way. I'm very happy that it went with Roman Reigns. I'm very happy that it went with him because Roman has just been on fucking fire. The man is fucking money. Everything that's been going on with him, this new incarnation of Reigns, it's been must-see TV. It's been very fascinating. It's been awesome. When I get to watch SmackDown, it's one of my highlights. It's what I look most forward to. You know, out of the entire week, like, it's right up there as far as wrestling content goes. Because that's how much of a damn good job I think he's been doing. It was good shit. You know, now, of course, you're looking in storyline. Okay, so what happens with Daniel Bryan? You know, what's Daniel Bryan going to do now? Is he going to keep on fighting? Is he going to take a step back? And in storyline, think about what's next for his future. You know, because he's been kind of teasing about retiring and everything. So what's going to happen with Daniel Bryan? You know, what's going to happen with Edge? Edge is going to continue on. Edge is going to continue to keep on fighting. You know, he's going to try to continue on, you know, for a shot at eventually becoming a world champion. What's going to happen there? Is it possible that we could be seeing a WrestleMania rematch between these three men at Backlash? Or is it possible that, coming back to Daniel Bryan is going to feel so defeated that he just, you know, he takes himself out the picture, and as a result of that, does this maybe put Edge in a position where Edge says, you know, look, you know, I want you one-on-one, you know, and the stipulations that's put out there, you know, if Roman Reigns, you know, if Jey Uso's banned from ringside. Well, if Jey Uso's banned from ringside, then what about Jimmy? So you gotta think about all that type of stuff. I don't think Roman Reigns is done with not Edge. I think he's done with D-Bryan, but I don't quite think he's done with Edge just yet. Don't be too surprised if there's a Backlash match coming up with those two guys, you know, and it's a one-on-one type of deal. Don't be too surprised about that. Now, does that mean Edge would become your new Universal Champion? That I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys, and You know, that's something you guys should ponder, and if it'd be kind of cool to have Edge running around as the champion and all that. But yeah, very interesting dynamic that you got going on there, because even if you weren't to go, hypothetically speaking, if you weren't gonna go with Edge at Backlash, then it's kind of like, okay, so where do we go? Where do we go with Roman Reigns? Honestly, I would not mind it if we just left D-Bryan and Edge alone, and let's see Cesaro versus Roman Reigns at Backlash. Damn great performance against Seth Rollins, a former WWE champion. I think that would be pretty good. Cesaro, Roman Reigns, let those guys duke it out for a couple of months, do a little test run, depending on how things are popping online and everything. Cesaro very well could be that guy. I mean, of all the baby faces that's on the SmackDown side of things right now, he's the one guy that I'm looking at that, okay, you know what? This would not only be a damn good matchup, but you want to talk about, and storyline, somebody that could pose a serious threat to Reigns' championship reign. You could definitely go in that direction. You could definitely go in that direction. So we'll see how that plays out. Let me know what you guys had thought about WrestleMania, though, while we're still live on the air. By the way, if anybody wants to be patched in live to the show, you want to go live, let me know, and I'll give you the Discord link so you can connect, and we'll bring you on live, and you can share your thoughts about the pay-per-view. You know, or if you're shy, you don't really want to, you can just keep leaving your comments in the chat and everything. But meantime, let's go and look at the polling results one more time. I'm not ignoring you guys either as far as the chat. I see what everybody is saying in the chat. I see you guys are mainly just taking it easy, talking amongst yourselves and all that. That's pretty cool. Like that. Shout out to Steve, who's usually checking out the shows, always representing. Appreciate that. Shout out to Tara Bull. Let's see who else we got in here, because I'm not seeing everything in real time just yet, so I usually have like a little bit of a delay here, but that's all I see so far. I'm sure there's probably a lot more of you, because I can actually see the number of people that's tuning in live, so I can see that, so I know there's more of you. But let's look at the polling results one more time. Let's see what we got here. All right, for night 2 of WrestleMania, we asked you guys to rate it. We gave you 4 options. Once again, night 2 of WrestleMania, I'm seeing 4% of you said it was better than night 1. Meanwhile, 22% of you said thumbs down. 30% of you gave night 2 a thumbs up. And top dog right now, 43% of you said it was not as good as night 1. Let's see what you guys had to say on the community poll on YouTube, youtube.com/the RCWR Show. Click on the communities tab. 8% of you said thumbs up. 17% of you said thumbs down. 25% of you said better than night 1, and top dog right now, 50%, you said not as good as night 1. So please, as I always say when it comes to our polls, now that you've heard the results for Twitter and YouTube, if you did not vote yet, don't spam out, don't go to both and vote. Just go with the platform you feel best represents. Yeah, you know what, majority's over here, let me go over here. Go with the side you feel best reflects your opinion of night 2 of WrestleMania. Can you believe it? This was night 7 of 8 for the RCWR show. Again, night 7 of 8. We have done now 7 consecutive shows. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We did 7 consecutive shows. We got one more show that we're going to be doing, and that is the Raw after WrestleMania. We'll be live here Monday night, soon as Raw goes off the air. We'll be streaming on all the usual platforms, so make sure you tune in. That should be a lot of fun. I'm actually supposed to be going on a mini break from the show afterwards. But I may be doing that, but I may actually space it out. Don't be too surprised if this Tuesday you see me maybe come on live and talk NWA Power, just NWA Power. I may be doing a little bit of a little test experiment just to try something out, try something different. So if you happen to be a fan of NWA Power, you've been checking out the product and all that, come check that out. And then I know Impact is now on Thursdays, so I actually may end up doing a live Impact Showdown this Thursday night, soon as Impact goes off the air. So when I do those, like officially, I am gonna do them. So my vacation is not really a vacation. I think the only way I would not do those shows for Tuesday and Thursday, I think the only way I would not do them is if maybe I were to get my appointment for my second COVID shot. That takes precedent over, that, like, no shit. So I'm not going to be doing NXT and what's the other one? AEW. I would not be talking about those this week. I really do want to just pump the brakes, take it easy and enjoy myself and everything. But I do want to do a little experiment with regards to those two joints. So yeah, check that out. Check that out when you guys get a chance. That should actually be pretty cool. Let's see. Yes, I'm well aware of NXT. They're going to be on Tuesday, but that's it for me. That's it for me. Okay, so let me tell you what's going on. Everybody, and why I'm kind of trying to play around. Okay, so I've been noticing on the back end of the YouTube analytics, our subscription growth has hit a wall, and I'm trying to crack it. I don't know what's going on. We're not shadow banned or anything like that, but I noticed, and shout out to my good buddy Tony Bing Gaming. I told you guys about this. At one point, Tony Bing was uploading video content of the game Outriders, and somehow that started fucking up the algorithm of his YouTube channel. And so as a result of that, the growth for his channel, it hit a wall. And so he ended up taking the Outriders content and uploading it to another channel. He created a whole new channel and everything, because what he was covering on his usual channel, as I always tell you guys when we promote him, he's covering Marvel Future Fight, Marvel Strike Force, Marvel's Avengers. He's covering those type of stuff. So he's covering Marvel games, basically. That's his niche. So there was a couple of videos that we uploaded over the years, non-wrestling related, non-entertainment related, and I believe truly it fucked up our algorithm, like right down to the point when I'm looking at how people are discovering the content. The way that they're discovering the content has nothing to do with wrestling, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck? So I was telling the missus about it earlier today, and she said, okay, well, since you're on vacation from work, and you usually like to go on vacation during the shows after Mania, why not do 2 special shows to try to help reset the algorithm a little bit? And I said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Like, what would you recommend? And so, as you guys know that check out the shows, I normally talk NWA Power. I love talking about them. So for me, I would have no problem, as part of the experiment, I would have no problem talking NWA Power for like 30 minutes and then talking Impact Wrestling, just to see if that would help in some type of form, not only reset the algorithm, but it would also put us in a position where we can try to break that algorithm in a way where YouTube is now trying to reset, is trying to recalculate, and then we're able to basically break it and get our subscription growth back to where it was previously, because it's been staggering. No bullshit, it's been staggering. When I look at the video plays, it's very concerning, because it's like, okay, what's going on here? Downloads and all that's not really a problem. I'm seeing we're continuing to grow with Amazon Music and Audible. All that's not an issue. But my main concern right now is definitely YouTube. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. You guys will hear this and you'll be like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. So, for example, when DMX died, we were like one of the first joints to hop on YouTube and all the other media outlets. And, we reacted to the news and everything. You know what YouTube did? YouTube had shadow banned our video. I bullshit you not. And I know for a fact YouTube had shadow banned, because when we were live, I actually had my girl try to look up my video. I told her the title of the video and all that, told her to use the keywords, all that. My video was not popping up. I even told her at one point, just type in DMX dead. My video was not popping up. YouTube has shadow ban. So ever since the whole election shit went down with Trump and everything, that whole era of, false information and all that other shit, YouTube has decided to really try to do their part in curb stomping. So even though I officially was, hey, according to, this is official, DMX is dead, because YouTube is trying to make sure that they aren't in a position where, oh man, this content creator is spreading falsified information. They shadow banned me and other people's videos that were talking about his death, and instead, Entertainment Tonight, TMZ, you get the gist. They basically went with, the official guys. So it was kind of fucked up. So shit like that, I'm learning the hard way, that doesn't help. On YouTube, that it doesn't help you. So it's like, if you're going to talk about it, you got to be prepared. You're going to probably be shadow banned. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing on Tuesday and Thursday. I will be back. If you guys can't tune in for those shows, no problem. But do not expect me on those respected shows to talk AEW, to talk NXT, because I'm not going to be talking about those shows. As far as I'm concerned, all this week we did mostly WWE. We did talk AEW. I've got listeners that actually give a damn about Impact Wrestling. They actually love hearing me talk about Impact Wrestling. So that's why we're mainly doing what we're doing for Thursday. That's why we're doing what we're mainly doing. Also Tuesday, with regards to NWA Power, that's kind of like the same deal. There's actually people that look forward to hearing about NWA Power. So that's kind of like one of those type of deals where I'm basically tossing people a respected bone. So nothing personal. If you guys can't join us on Tuesday and Thursday, don't worry. Regular programming will be back in full effect the following week. All right. Hey, before I get ready to roll out, let me give a mad shout out to our Patreon members, patreon.com/RCWR Show. That's where you can go check out bonus audio, video content you won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to Patreon members Anthony DeBlasi, Gino Morgan, Justin Ripstock, Freddie. Shout out to J.D. Davis. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Shout out to Tony Bean Gaming. You want the very latest in all things Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Marvel's Avengers, there's a new upcoming game that's coming from Marvel too. Tony Banks got the hookup for that though. Tips, tricks, news, walkthroughs, and reviews. He's on YouTube. He's got a Patreon paywall as well. Shout out to my good friend over at Wishful Walking Videos. They're on YouTube. Show them some mad love as well. Appreciate all the love and support. We got one more show to do Monday after Raw. Tune in for that. Should be a great show. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Those of you that had joined in live, appreciate you guys as always. Those of you that were interacting throughout this show, appreciate it. Whether you were talking amongst yourselves, I really didn't see anything that was really directed towards me as far as a question. It just kind of seemed like from what I was seeing of the comments, you guys were mostly just interacting with each other. So, I mean, that's cool. If anything, I say bring that same energy Monday night. But if you do have some wrestling questions or non-wrestling related questions, join us Monday night. You can definitely post them during the Monday show, and I'd be more than happy to tackle them. But until next go round, wishing all y'all to be safe and most importantly be kind to one another. I will see you next go round. Adios, y'all.